Hey everyone, we'll be starting in a moment. I'm getting everything set up and then we'll be good to go, so please bear with me as I do so. Alright, that's all done. Oops, wrong thing. That's all saved. Close all that. Don't need these anymore. Everything seems to be good. We are good to go, I think. No drop frames or anything. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another stream of Apollo Justice Trilogy. Where we had left off last time, we started investigating the death of a guy who looked like a frog because of his raincoat. I can't remember his name right now, but it was a guy who had the orb of Khu'rain or whatever it was called. So, yeah, we were trying to find it. He found out that he was being stalked, so he went to hide it inside a cave. We went to that cave. We almost died because a guy pushed us down the side of a cliff or something. And then we almost drowned after we figured out the puzzle that had the orb inside it. And luckily, our adoptive father came and saved us because we were playing as Apollo. And then Phoenix came out of nowhere and was like, yeah, I'm going to be his defendant or something, his lawyer. So, yeah, if you're going to defend this guy from keep getting the orb, we're going to, no. It's, again, it's like he's defending the guy so he can get the orb for him rather than, Dragon guy, I can't remember his name right now, rather than Dragon guy getting it. And yet, it's quite obvious that the guy that wants the other orb either is confused or is lying, and number two, almost killed Phoenix, or not Phoenix, almost killed Apollo, and yet, for some reason, Phoenix is like, no, I believe in my client. Huh? It's like, it feels very contrived, this whole fight, but maybe we'll get a reasoning for why he's doing it, so, yeah, other than that, we're about to start the trial against Phoenix, so let's begin. Let us get this thing up. Play. Dirk, that was his name, yeah, Dirk. Skip. Let's see if it's been picked up. Yes. Showing on here. Yes. My chat's finally saying I've got viewers when it should have been before, but it's saying it now. Everything seems to be good. So, first, you know, I feel like Phoenix is being a little bit out of character. You know, he might be not Phoenix, he might be Zin Ehop. So, Zin Ehop is now in. And because he's Zin Ehop, we now have to get Maid Athena in if she's still going to be in this one, And maybe for some reason, Apollo's just like, hey, I'm going back to school. And then he decides to dress up as a school guy. You know, it's all an alternate universe now. Wait, did I do the right? Yes, I did. Confirm changes. All right, load game. This one. Let us begin. Guess we'll find out if she is in this one, Ruffatron. I did call you Apollotron, which is not the right thing. May 17th, 10:08 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Just so you know, I'm not going to take sides. Message received, loud and clear. Good, because I don't like this one bit. You and Daddy should be on the same team. Sorry, Trucy. Oh, she's really mad. I'd forgotten what voice I did for you. How could I forget what voice I did for you? I'm sorry, little lady. This is all my fault. I'm just worried things will never be the same between Daddy and Apollo. If they go through with this... Met a cat named Athena at work today? Wow. Lucky. Is that all? Well, I wouldn't worry about that. That's the way it is with us men. We fight. We may fight, but we do not burn bridges. Really? Sure. Just 1 minute we're trading blows, and the next we're having drinks together. We're simple creatures at heart. Sure hope you're right. She is in it! Sorry I'm late, Apollo. Dina, there you are. What happened with you and Mr. Wright yesterday? Oh, about that. Ended up going to the wrong airport. I went to the one in Boston. I was waiting there thinking his flight was really late. Before I knew it, I dozed off. By the time I woke up, it was already dark. I figured something like that had happened. Being late and dozing off are two of the things you do best. I mean, that's never been a thing in the game, as far as I'm aware. She's never been late and she hasn't really dozed off. This is the first time this is a thing. She took an airplane. She took an airplane to pick up the guy that came off an airplane. Guilty as charged. Try to get a bad ending. There's a bad ending. I'll try. So then, I take it you have no idea what today's case is about? Not a clue. Sorry. What is today's case about, if I might ask? Another locked room mystery? A suspect with a flimsy alibi? Ooh, a dying message? Sorry, strike 3. You're out. It's a civil case. A civil case? Not like I'm speaking Swahili here. That's a random language to choose, but okay. It's just the Right Anything Agency specializes in criminal law, so I thought. In civil cases, there are no prosecutors, right? Instead, both parties retain an attorney. Right, and the other attorney is someone you know very well. Really? Who? Batman? The trial will begin shortly. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. Okay, let's do this. Apollo, wait. Who's the other attorney? And where's Mr. Wright? No time to explain. Let's go. You could just say it's Mr. Wright. Let's go. Okay. Right behind you. I'm gonna kick this other attorney's butt. You won't stop me. May 17th, 10:30 a.m. Courtroom number 6. We could say, because of the different outfits, that Athena was working at a maid cafe because she doesn't earn enough as a lawyer, so she's taken a second job in order to pay off her debts or something for student loans. It'd be crazy. Sorry I'm late, Apollo. I had to go to my other job and I just straight forgot to pick up Phoenix. All rise. Day 1, court in session. Court is now in session. Oh, is this some sort of practice session? Hey, Aragon, welcome. Mock trial, perhaps? No, it's not, Your Honor. It's the real deal, Your Honor. So then you two have a falling out? I wouldn't have you using my courtroom for that, you know. It's nothing like that, Your Honor. Europe? The troop prices are reasonable there. Europe! Exactly. It just so happens that we have a different clients in this case. I see. Well, there's hoping. Well, here's the hoping this has no adverse effect on your working relationship. You could say that again. I had no idea we'd be going up against the boss today. You sure this is a good idea, Apollo? What? Do you want to switch sides? Honestly, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Well, at least she is here. Well, at least she is here. I'm really going to need her help. Mr. Justice? Yes? Don't expect me to pull any punches just because you're the opposing lawyer. As I said, the kid gloves are off. And come what may, they'll start off. Or stay off. Same here, Mr. Wright. It's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. I don't even wear gloves. Why are they not wearing the normal outfits? I don't know. It looks like she came straight from a restaurant. Yeesh, you guys are really chomping at the bit, aren't you? I don't mind a good fight between co-workers. Just keep this civil case civil. Takes off the bracelet and uses it as a brass knuckle. Now then, if the plaintiff would take the stand, we may begin. And it vibrates because it can tell that he's lying. You son of a bitch! Vibrating punch. For some reason, Restream's refrozen. It's frozen. There we go. Now then, if the plaintiff could take the stand, we may begin. Plaintiff? Right, left, right, halt! Still inside his damn box. Noble judge, members of the gallery, good day to you. I am Paul Addison. This is but the start of my epic campaign, and you all have the honor of witnessing it. I believe the youth of this country are our very future. Too long have they been looked down on and given the cold shoulder. So to them I say, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what you can do for me. I was saying plaintiff because I got it confused with the bailiff. That was my mistake. I was like, why are you calling the bailiff to the stand? It's like the plaintiff is the other guy. That's my mistake. Mr. Addison, what is this crazy contraption you're riding? It's my custom-made election-winning campaign mobile. Beautiful, isn't it? You're at a witness stand, not a campaign podium. So come out of there this instant. He doesn't have legs. He keeps a sign, though. All right, now, with the plaintiff attorney, Mr. Wright. Please explain the complaint filed against the defendant. Mr. Addison's complaint against the defendant is simple. The defendant, one Dirk Smadi, stole my client's family heirloom, the crystal of Amifae. Mr. Addison merely seeks its return. This wouldn't have happened if that archaeologist hadn't kicked the bucket. I see. Well, Mr. Justice, let's have your opening statement if you would. The defense asserts the item in question is the Founder's Orb, a sacred relic from Khu'rain. Go on. It seems someone asked an archaeologist, Dr. Archie Buff, to study the orb. Dr. Buff determined that it was the Khu'rainese national treasure known as the Founder's Orb. The very orb that was stolen from a treasury room in Khu'rain several weeks ago. Why, yes, I saw a news report about that. The theft of the Khu'rainese national treasure caused quite an uproar in the kingdom. I'm doing fine. Doing fine, Aragorn. How are you doing? How's everyone doing? Well, we believe that it is not, in fact, a theft in the traditional sense, but rather that it was spirited out of Khu'rain by someone for Dr. Buff to study. You don't say. And? Around that time, an acquaintance of the defendant learned of Miss Dr. Buff. He made contact with the doctor, who agreed to hand over the orb. Apparently, the doctor wanted nothing to do with it once he learned it had been stolen. It seems you even received a transfer agreement between both parties. Mr. Samadhi also agreed to return the Founder's Orb to the Kingdom of Khu'rain, once the doctor verified it was the real thing. I see, so this dispute centers on whether the item in question is the Founder's Orb or the Crystal of Amifei. It's both! I've said that already! That in turn will determine the object's rightful owner. I better bring my A game. Going up against Mr. Right won't be a walk in the park. Come to think of it, the name Dirk Samadhi sounds awfully familiar. But I can't recall where I've heard it. Oh, it's probably your imagination, Your Honor. He's just a tourist after all. My imagination, you say? Are you sure about this, Apollo? He's a wanted He's a wanted criminal in Khu'rain, isn't he? In Khu'rain, yes. Here, he's just a tourist. It's only when he does something illegal here that he will be considered one. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Ankles? Why does that ankle look weird? Oh, hi, Emma. What's with that stare, Emma? Show some manners. We're in court. I know, it's just... This is a civil trial, so I was surprised to see a detective take the stand. I had to do some digging on Mr. Buff. Or Dr. Buff. What for? You disappoint me, Apollo. First, you know I'm not just a detective, I'm a forensic scientist. Do try to remember that. Second, you owe Mr. Wright an apology. After all he's done for you, you have some nerve. First, I'm sorry, and second, I'm really just trying to do my job. You'll never get anywhere with that attitude. Take some advice from someone who's been there. Why do I feel like I'm on trial here? Hi, Aragon, thanks for dropping by. Detective Steyer, your testimony, if you please. Stop badgering the defense. I thought I'd never get to say that, but stop it. The doctor's dark secret. The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time. And just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that was stolen from the Frey clan. It seems the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Addison residence. The doctor is a thief? Why am I just hearing about this now? Well, cat burglar isn't something he'd put on his resume. He was more careful than that. But the fact is, he was a classic treasure hunter. A treasure hunter, huh? Is that like people who have thrilling adventures in exotic places, risking life and limb for glory? He's a male Tomb Raider? I doubt Dr. Buff was the star of his own hit movie series, Athena. Out of respect for the dead, I will say that Dr. Buff wasn't doing it to get rich. Apparently, he only wanted to borrow the artifacts to study them. He would then return them as soon as his research was finished. According to the doctor's child, he would even repair or restore some of the artifacts he stole before returning them. He believed he was honoring the dead by discovering their history through artifacts. For whatever lofty ideals he held, it makes no difference. Larceny is larceny. Yes, he certainly sounds no different from a regular thief to me. So, let's say for a moment that the Doctor really did moonlight in stealing artifacts. Might he have not stolen the Founder's Orb in Khu'rain and brought it back here himself? Nope. There's no record of him travelling overseas for the past few years. Plus, he couldn't very well leave his reclusive child at home all alone. Then this really must be the Crystal of Amifei. Yes, he stole it from the Addison resident, probably so he could study it. This is the left hook I did not need. I bet you never saw that coming, Apollo. Yeah, when Mr. Wright said the kid gloves were off, he wasn't kidding. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. The Doctor's dark secret.
Hold it!
How exactly did Dr. Buff arouse the suspicion of the police anyway? Chalk it up to good old-fashioned sleuthing. After investigating countless artifacts thefts over the years, or past few years, the police finally zeroed in on him and the Doctor became quite the prime suspect. There we go. A number of those artifacts thefts occurred in Khu'rain village too, if I might add. And they started right around the time the Doctor moved there. But he was never arrested. I take it there was nothing concrete linking him to a crime? No, which is why we were never able to get a search warrant in the first place. It's hard to arrest artifact thieves unless you catch them red-handed. Still, the police had him under constant surveillance. In his study.
Hold it!
Are you sure these allegedly stolen artifacts are the real deal? They're not fakes, that's for sure. Take the urn, for example. Apparently, it's an extremely intricate work of art. The fact that it still has the damn paint on it. This is 8 years later. Its design, cracks, and other features would be impossible to replicate perfectly. Actually, I've had a few run-ins with that urn myself. So I was shocked to see it there in the Doctor's study. I can say without a doubt that the urn stolen was from the Fae clan. I see. Detective Sky, please continue with the testimony if you would.
Hold it!
Were any other stolen artifacts found besides those belonging to the Faes? Yes, for instance. Remember that large relief on the wall? It was chiseled out of some ruins in the Kingdom of Khu'rain several years ago. Chiseled out? Didn't that damage it? Well, he did restore the parts that were so faded you could barely see them anymore. It seems he intended to return it someday, so one couldn't say his intentions were good. But good intentions are no get-out-jail-free card, that's a fact. If I might add, with the respect for the deceased, the quality of the restoration was apparently exceptional. It seems the Doctor invested a lot of money in hiring an extremely talented specialist. He sounds like a good man. Who took a wrong turn somewhere? I guess Sarge takes after him in that way. Any further questions? If not...
Hold it!
Had these alleged thefts been going on for some time? At least 5 years, as far as I can tell. Or we can tell. All the recent thefts have been local. But before moving to Khu'rain village, he had been stealing from ruins around the world. Dr. Buff was an international criminal? This data lends itself to but one conclusion. Dr. Buff was a thief. Thief. With a TH, not an F.
Hold it!
You claim he stole a family heirloom from the Addison residence, but claiming something doesn't mean it's true. Unfortunately, it is true. How can you be so sure? A police report was filed concerning the theft 1 year ago, in fact. What? A whole year ago? August 25th of last year, to be exact. The report states, and I quote, "The crystal of Amifei was discovered to be missing from the Addison storehouse at 10 a.m. The storehouse lock had been picked." Signed, Paul Addison Wimperson. His name is Wimperson? Well, a year-old report certainly lends the plaintiff claim some credence. The doctor really could have stolen the crystal of Amifei. Not only that, Your Honor, but the Founder's Orb was only found to be missing several weeks ago. That is nearly a year after the crystal thefts was reported. Therefore, I believe we must consider the orb and the crystal to be two separate items. Paul Addison Wimperson, not the most awe-inspiring tail end, is it? I see why he cut it. Not that he inspires confidence without it. Still, I'd probably do the same in his shoes. A police report was filed about the crystal theft a year ago, but the theft of the Founder's Orb was only reported a few weeks ago. So the crystal's police report was filed way before the orb was found missing. I suggest the stolen relic is the crystal of Amifei, as Mr. Addison Wimperson asserts. Huh. I doubt the police report is a fake. After all, Emma is the one who submitted it as evidence. Still, I feel like something we learned in that police report is important somehow. Let me have a look at it. Crystal of Amifei was discovered to be missing from the Addison storehouse at 10 a.m. The warehouse lock had been picked. Paul Addison Wimperson. It looks like a moon. Like a planet inside a glass orb. If there was a date on this, it'd be easier. Alright, but first, let's get this bad end.
Hold it!
Oh, what did we press? I meant to present. Let's say that he was blind.
Objection!
He couldn't see anything, so how could he tell he was stealing something? Contradicts his evidence, and just how does it contradict with the evidence, Mr. Justice? Could I have about 5 minutes to figure out the answer to that? The defense will figure it out before the presents his evidence next time. Sounds like a plan. And my badge. Please take a look at this piece of evidence. I'm looking, but what am I supposed to see? Oh, as your boss and mentor, here's a bit of advice. Never present evidence before you have a good grasp of the situation at hand. Shut up, Phoenix, you do that anyway. Right, sorry. And as the presiding judge, here's a penalty. Ouch, double team for just doing what Mr. Wright always does anyway. Exactly! Then, same
Objection!
thing. Boop, 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 boop. And here we go. Disintegrate my art piece.
Objection!
Present the orb. There's something off about that statement. It seemed perfectly reasonable to me. No, something's definitely not right if you listen really carefully. A gambler once sang, you've got to know when to hold them, you know, and when to fold them. Oh, I love this one. Know when to walk away, know when to run. I don't know which penalty hurts more, the judges or their singing. Yes. It's the book.
Objection!
The books did it. That's enough. I see no need to further prolong this trial. The Defiant Dragons have failed to sufficiently show the right to the item in question. Therefore, ownership is hereby awarded to the plaintiff, Mr. Paul Addison. There we go. That creep Paul Addison stole the Founder's Orb right out of our hands. The dream of revolution in the kingdom of Khu'rain died that day, through this one artifact, and we returned to our daily lives. As to my relationship with Mr. Wright, the word awkward comes to mind. Let's just say it was never really the same. That actually doesn't sound that bad. It sounds like a normal outcome at the end. Usually it's like, then they died. That's usually the bad ends. Do I have my stuff still? No, I have to get it again.
Hold it!
Make this consult thing go away. Let's see what she says. Is it just me, or does that statement sound a little bit dubious? You know what? You're right. Thanks, Athena. Anytime. Now to take another look at the evidence. Probably the email.
Objection!
The doctor stole the relic from the plaintiff? Are you sure? Because that statement doesn't agree with a certain piece of evidence. What do you mean? Take a look at this. What about it? This contains an email from the doctor's computer. Email? In that little piece of plastic? I'm afraid I don't understand. Oh, this stick here can store all sorts of computer data. I still don't get it. Here, just look at this. Apparently, the doctor was reporting his research findings to a certain individual. Now take a look at this. It's the police report Detective Sky presented to this court. You can see the plaintiff's legal name on it. Paul Addison Whipperson. Is it the same guy? I didn't realize that because I just went, Paul 117. That's a weird name. I see why he dropped the Whipperson from his name, but that's hardly breaking news. Look closer, Your Honor. His initials. Right, the plaintiff's full legal name is Paul Addison Whipperson. Now, consider this. The email's recipient address starts with 3 letters. P-A-W. Ah! Don't tell me. Oh, but I will anyway. The individual who hired the doctor to study the disputed item is none other than Paul Addison Whipperson. Wait, then that means... Exactly. He wouldn't have asked the man who stole his family heirloom to study it. Therefore, how could this possibly be the crystal of Ami Faye? Ah! Dude. We never checked the deck. We never checked the deck. Oh my god! What is wrong with me? It's not a tongue twister. We never checked the doctor's emails The detectives' emails. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't. That's what real police officers do. We couldn't even figure out the password to his computer. Don't you have, like, high-tech hacking equipment? The plaintiff willingly left the orb in the doctor's care so he could study it, at the behest of his benefactor. Wait, then what about the police report? I have all the details of the theft right here. It's probably for another relic, the real Crystal of Amife. He's just using the report as a way to claim that our orb is actually a stolen crystal.
Objection!
And how are you so certain that Paul refers to my client's initials? Maybe the email's recipient was a dog lover. A dog lover. Perhaps, but so let's get to know your client a little better, shall we? Paul Addison Whipson. Get to the stand! I suppose shutting down detractors is all part of a politician's job. Answer me this, Mr. Addison Whipson. What is your shoe size? Your birthday. What is your birthday? My birthday? It's July 11th, but what's that got to do with you? Oh, I see. You can address birthday gifts to my office. But full disclosure, I only accept gifts valued at $1,000 or more. You pretentious fuck! You and me both, Phoenix. Why is everyone gone silent? How could anyone be that self-centered? Alright, politician. The whole thing is just taking digs at politicians. Did everyone hear that? He said July 11th. 11th? July 11th? 7-Eleven? Or rather, 7-Eleven matches the numbers on the email. Both the name and the birthday are a match. I hardly think that's a coincidence. Wait, you sneaky little... Looks like someone finally decided to join the conversation. Would the plaintiff care to explain? I would like to say that this is quite what? Quite a thing you've said. Any other thoughts? No further comments. I stand by my previous statement. And then he just walks off. Oh, okay, bye. You can't just walk away. Even politicians have to explain themselves in a court of law. I'm afraid I simply don't know how it happened. I can't possibly explain matters outside of my purview. Perhaps it was a mistake on the part of my secretary. Oh, no, you don't, you slippery eel. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? I won't argue with your assertion. My client lent the treasure in question to the doctor and asked him to study it. It seems that much is a fact. Now we're getting somewhere. However, it has no bearing on the issue of ownership. How so? Mr. Addison, I fully understand your position in here. You had to hide the fact that you sent the crystal out to be studied. Your family would have been very upset if they had found out. It's a family heirloom after all. You've got to be kidding me. Mr. Wright is, well, right, of course. But then, he always is. That's why he's my lawyer. The crystal is a precious Addison family heirloom, and it has been for centuries. But Dr. Buff was so eager to study its proud heritage, I just couldn't say no. How is it a family heirloom when it's literally called the Amife orb? I didn't even tell my grandfather.
Objection!
But in order for you to win the backing of your so-called benefactor, you were going to give what you claim to be the crystal of Amife to that person? You were going to give a precious family heirloom away, just like that? I was going to explain everything to grandfather later, honest. My client's grandfather is very proud of his grandson for following in his footsteps. I've heard completely different, but sure. And if refusing him would have meant dashing the dreams of his darling grandson, I doubt the kindly old man would have said no. Well, grandchildren are meant to be spoiled. That's what grandfathers are for. Your Honor, please. I mean, it's been in the family for centuries. My grandfather thinks highly of my talents as a politician. That's why he entrusted me with this very important name placard today. Abe Addison. So I'm sure it would have been okay with me using the crystal as I saw fit. Grandpa's spoiled little brat. I think the judge is buying it, Apollo. No surprise there. He's always going on about his own grandchild, after all. Excuse me. Can I leave now, Mr. Wright? I believe my work here is done. By all means, Detective Sky. Thank you for your assistance. Thank you for your ass! You're welcome. It was nice to testify at a civil trial once in a while. See you around. It seems the facts have changed somewhat. Mr. Addison Wibson apparently led his family heirloom to Dr. Buff. Mr. Justice, how would the defense like to proceed? Oh, all right, now what? Well, let's see what they know about this so-called crystal of Ami Faye. Maybe we can find some inconsistencies in their statements. Right. Okay then, Mr. Wright. If the item in question is really an Addison family heirloom, then let's hear all your client knows about it. Of course. Mr. Addison Wibson, please tell the defense everything you know about the crystal origin. All right. Now then, listen and learn. This is the tale of the crystal of Ami Faye and the illustrious history of the Addison clan. Sure, whatever. Are you ready? Our story begins back in the old country when the Addison family reigned supreme. I really thought it was going to fade to black and it'd be like hours later. The illustrious history of the Addison clan. My ancestors were praised as a benevolent ruler. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. As thanks, Ami Faye gave the crystal she had made specifically as a gift to him. I am a descendant of the great lord. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history. Doesn't make you a great ruler just because your history has it. Well, that devolved into a great load of self-aggrandizing propaganda fast. As you can see, the crystal of Ami Faye is an heirloom of the esteemed House of Addison. Do you have proof that it has always been in the Addison family? I have someone who gave a statement to that effect. My client's neighbor, one Ives Shinetto, age 85, gave the following statement. Addison showed me the crystal back when I was but a lad.
Objection!
Can you really trust the memory of an old man? Wow. Mr. Justice, would you care to explain that statement to the judge? Oh, I didn't mean... What I'm trying to say is, never underestimate the memory of your elders. Mr., you... I may forget my verdicts the next day, but the memories of my past are clear as day. Therefore, I find Mr. Ives Shinetto's statement to be perfectly credible. Wow. Did you see how Mr. Wright got the judge on his side? That's definitely a trick I want up my sleeve. You're not helping, Athena. You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Justice.
Hold it!
That object you sent down there, is it something of importance to you? It's a name placard. This one here belonged to my grandfather, Abraham Addison. Or Abraham. He had a custom made during his distinguished political career. It's special because it was crafted from the finest Italian plastics. I wasn't aware that Italians were famous for their fine plastic. You can touch it if you want. No, I'm fine. Very well, I'll just continue with my testimony. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler, but he was also an eminent politician.
Hold it!
So I take it the relationship with the Fae clan was a close one? A smooth and open line of communication with my entire electorate. This is what the Paul Addison way. Huh? Oh, sorry. I was asking about your ancestor. Whatever it is about me or my ancestor, feel free to ask me anything you'd like. Transparency in government, that's the Paul Addison way. More like dodging questions, that's the Paul Addison way. Thanks, I'll be sure to ask when I have something to actually answer. As I was saying, the Addison family protected the Fae spirit mediums back then.
Hold it!
Spirit mediums were targets of discrimination. Yes, some people even treated them like they were monsters. The transformation the mediums underwent when the channeling spirits frightened the locals. And then there were those who tried to use them. You mean they sought to control the channeling powers of the mediums? Discriminating against the minority is absolutely despicable. Vote for me is the vote to end discrimination. I vow to root it out wherever it may be, and shoot them. This is my promise to you. He's totally ignoring your questions. It's like you're a moderator at a political debate. Yeah, and only he cares about his talking points. As thrilling as your campaign is, could we please get back to your testimony? As you wish. Now then, as for the Crystal of Ami-Fae...
Hold it!
You said she had it made, so then it was made in Japan? That's right. They say she hired a famous craftsman to make it. And they say it's quite valuable too. And you were going to take such a priceless family heirloom and just give it to your patron? That's so typical of you ignorant common types. Making difficult decisions when the chips are down on what being a politician is all about. But only when it's service to your own political career, you mean? The crystal is a testament to my ancestors' remarkable achievements. And furthermore... Oh, whoops.
Hold it!
So, tell me, Mr. Addison, are you famous in Khu'rain village? You could say that, but I find my popularity to be rather amusing. Amusing? Yes, my campaign posters keep going missing as soon as I put them up. My avid supporters and female fans are likely taking them home to hang in their bedrooms. I guess ignorance really is bliss. All this only proves my fine lineage. I don't know why I made it laugh like that, but I don't really care about him.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but is any of that relevant to the issue of the relic's rightful owner? Have you never heard of kingcraft? Kingcraft? It's the art of ruling as a king. My father drilled it into my head from a young age. And one of its precepts states, ruin waits a ruler who responds to every single issue posed by the masses. Well, that answered my question about what you meant by king of this nation. Progress. Apollo, who is this Ami-Fae anyway? I believe she was the founder of the Khu'rain channeling technique. The plaintiff claims she had the crystal made for his ancestor. That would mean it was made in Japan, right? Yeah, I suppose it would. Is that important? Wait. I guess they could say because... This. Present.
Objection!
There we go. You stated that Ami Faye had the crystal made for your ancestor. So am I to assume it was made in Japan? That's right. The craftsmanship is unbeatable. Well, that's strange. I don't see how your so-called crystal could have been made there. What are you talking about? It's quite obvious you take a closer look at this. Meow.
Take that!
Take a look at the distinctive design here. According to Dr. Buff, it's a Mitama motif dating back to the early days of the Kingdom of Khu'rain. The Kingdom of Khu'rain? And you'll base this on... Here, this piece of evidence, Your Honor. These are the Doctor's research notes in the Founder's Orb. This is the box in which the orb was originally restored. It features the same pattern as the one found on the orb. They do look the same pattern. Therefore, I assert that the disputed item has been made in the Kingdom of Khu'rain. My placard!
Objection!
The Khu'rain channeling technique originated from the Kingdom of Khu'rain. And Ami Faye is known to have travelled there to train. With that in mind, what's to say she didn't bring that pattern back with her?
Objection!
But since this is clearly a Khu'rainese design, not even you can deny the possibility that it was made there, in the Kingdom of Khu'rain.
Objection!
Anything's possible to some extent. That doesn't make it true. So you can't conclude that the orb is from the Khu'rain both solely on that platter. If it were that simple, I could just as easily say it's Japanese. I have to agree with Mr. Wright. The pattern alone proves nothing. But that also means there's no basis to claim the item in dispute was made in Japan either. At this rate, we're going nowhere fast. He's right. We're just spinning on wheels here. I wonder if we had any evidence that could break this stalemate. Evidence that could break this stalemate. I don't think we have anything. Doesn't exist. There doesn't seem to be anything we can use, at least not at this point. Well, unless we can find something, this trial won't be going anywhere. That's much better. What's his deal? I have a suggestion. Why don't we consider this from a different angle? I'm listening. What if the Defiant Dragons really were authorized to take possession of the relic? I'm afraid I don't know where you're going with this, Mr. Wright. Consider the orb transfer agreement, which states, I agree to hand over to the Founder's Orb to the Defiant Dragons if I'll come to no harm. What if, as the last part suggests, this was written under duress? That would render the agreement null and void. What are you suggesting, Mr. Wright? While you were on your little cave expedition, I was investigating Dr. Buff's accident, which I may point out, we were pushed by this guy, so we almost died because of him. And there was something you overlooked, Mr. Justice. Namely, that his accident might have actually been murder. What? Murder? Mr. Wright, you do realize that such statements are not to be made lightly. Are you suggesting the doctor was murdered by the Defiant Dragons? Yes, but follow me on this for a sec. The book that came tumbling down from this archaeology shelf. Wherever among the mountain of books was a single volume of psychology. What's more, there was some blood on it. And you feel this is important because the books that came tumbling down were from the top shelf, the archaeology books. We know this because the doctor's book were meticulously organized by subject. The archaeology took up the entire shelf, so that psychology book is completely out of place. Come to think of it, the shelves were arranged quite carefully. It was also worth noting that psychology books only take up a tiny part of the bottom shelf. You might wonder why a book on psychology was found amidst a pile of archaeology books. But I believe I can explain what that single out-of-place book was doing there. The doctor was struck from behind while selecting a psychology book from the shelf. Okay, Phoenix, you have to realize you'd have to hit someone really, really hard with a book to kill them with that. And that would deform the book. It would not just stay its same shape. And that's when the blood got on the book. Precisely. To make it look like an accident. He was buried under a mountain of archaeology books.
Objection!
Wait a second. This is all just speculation, right? Or do you have proof that it was murder? Of course I do. You do? On a hunch, I had Detective Sky examine the doctor's head wound. She found that he had been struck by the corner of some object or another. Wait, what? A wound like that couldn't have resulted from a fall to the floor, you know. Do you understand what this means, Mr. Justice? The wound makes it crystal clear that Dr. Buff was murdered. What? Well, that's unexpected. Who'd have thought that we'd break out of the stalemate like this? He pulled the ladder right out from under us. Still, if he thinks that's enough to make me back down, he's got another thing coming. Even if the cause of death was murder, what makes you think it was the Defiant Dragons? You should know better than to hold baseless accusations.
Objection!
Did you forget who you're up against, Mr. Justice? Huh? You didn't actually think I'd come to court without witnesses and evidence, did you? What are you talking about? I would like to request further testimony from the plaintiff. Specifically, I would like the court to hear how he saw one of the rebels leaving the crime scene. He saw what? If he can prove that it was murder, that's the end of our client's right to the orb. Did he have to this up his sleeve the whole time? How could Mr. Wright do this to us? How could he be doing his job? Ugh! He was just waiting to spring this trap. This trial has taken another unexpected turn. But I must mention, Mr. Wright, that you have yet to identify the murder weapon. The object used to commit the murder was not located at the scene of the crime. The murderer likely disposed of it elsewhere. And now we get the autopsy report. Well, I never thought we'd be deliberating the issue of murder at a civil trial. All right, Mr. Addison Wimson, your testimony, if you please. He left and then came back. Prepare to be dazzled. Dazzled by my charismatic oration forged by the crucible of campaign battles. I hate that he's using a Daruma button. Ugh. The rebel's crime. That evening I was walking alone, lost in thought, my mind a mire of tragedy. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Dr. Arabal, or Mr. He was running out of the front door. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of the crime. A vote for me is a vote to end such violence. That is my promise to you. So the plaintiff saw a possible suspect fleeing from the doctor's residence, and it was within the window of estimated time of death. That's Arabal. What in the world were you doing there, then? It seems Mr. Arabal was lording around the Khu'rain village that day. There's evidence he was in the doctor's study as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Justice? You mean the suitcase? Exactly. He must have been in quite the rush to leave that behind. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, Mr. Arabal just happens to be sitting in the gallery today. See, that's him trying to escape as we speak. Bailiff, don't let that man get away. Right, you backstabber. What are you doing this to me? All right, the counsel/defense may question the plaintiff/witness once more. Please proceed, Mr. Justice. He said Mr. Witness.
Hold it!
Why were you taking a walk? Society is inundated with serious problems that must be solved, and as a politician, I'm always on the job, thinking hard about the possible solutions even on my walks. Thanks for the non-answer. While we live our comfy lives, there are starving children who suffer in the back alleys of our major cities. It is not in me to ignore such suffering. A vote for me is a vote to end hunger and for world peace. Yes, Mr. Addison Wilson, we are well aware of your outstanding character. Now please continue with your testimony. I can practically hear my poll numbers surging. Now, on with my speech. After all, the voting public must be informed of the magnificent that is me. Oh my god.
Hold it!
Where exactly were you when you saw Mr. Arabal? Right here, under this tree. Why are you that close? I saw him dashing out of Dr. Buff's front door. And he didn't notice you? No, I was hidden by the tree. Is it really all that important to know where the plaintiff saw the Mr. Arabal? Yes, I believe it matters a lot. I ask that it please be added to the witness testimony. Well, you should have seen the body first.
Objection!
Oh, it's not that one then. There's something off about that statement. I seem perfectly reasonable to me, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Skip. Because they're saying that everyone that could see him would be able to see him from the window. I mean, would it really be...
Objection!
Nah. I was going to say, it wouldn't be the diagram on the picture of the diagram. You look like you've hit a brick wall, Apollo. Yeah, it feels like I have to. I have too. Maybe you just haven't brought all the facts to light. Why don't you try pressing a little more? Good idea. Okay, time to turn up the pressure. I guess I'll keep pressing then. It wouldn't even let me present now. What were you doing under that tree? A lack of lateral thinking. That is a politician's downfall. What? That is why, if I'm elected, I promise to think outside the box. The question was, what were you doing under the tree, Mr. Addison? I suppose I can expect a plebeian such as yourself to understand my grand design. Oh yeah? Try me, O Lord of Plebs. Mr. Addison Whipperson, I believe the court is well aware of your grand political vision. Now let's have the rest of your testimony, if you please. I can hardly wait for the upcoming election.
Hold it!
Did you not notice anything unusual? Yes, his behavior was incredibly suspicious. His eyes were dotting all over as he ran off into total panic. As soon as I saw that, I knew he had done something and probably wasn't good. Despite that, you still didn't report it to the police? Who would have thought he had killed Miss Dr. Buff? Not me, that's why I didn't report him. So the witness didn't notify the police. Is it an important statement, Mr. Justice? Yes. Yes, it's important. I request that a witness add it to his testimony. Sure, why not? Is it this one?
Objection!
There we go. Mr. Addison Whipperson, rather than Mr. Arabal, wasn't there something else that you should have had your undivided attention on? Like what? Oh, yes, of course. A politician must also keep his finger on the elaborate pulse and focus on the nation's... Sorry, but you're way off. I am? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? If the witness saw Mr. Arabal from this position here, then he should have also been able to see the doctor's body. After all, it's right next to a huge window. Why, I believe you have a point there. With the body that clearly visible to the witness, it's unthinkable that it wouldn't have spotted wouldn't have reported it to the police. That was a quiet. Now, what would the witness care to respond? Did he fall asleep? Mr. Addison Whipperson. Mr. Addison Whipperson. Huh? Oh, there are many sides to any issue. What did I ever do to deserve this? In any case, I'd like the court to acknowledge the inconsistency in the witness's testimony. Mr. Addison Whipperson, did you really see Mr. Arabal? Yes.
Hold it!
Where do you think you're going? Oh, I thought I'd return to my seat, seeing as I had already answered the question. This isn't some small town hall debate, so you just stay right there until I say you're through. I'll have to run that by my campaign manager before I...
Objection!
Mr. Addison Whipperson, I think it's time for you to come clean. Huh? So then, does this mean he didn't see Mr. Arabal? As a lawyer, Mr. Addison Whipperson, I advise you to divulge that matter we discussed. Silence is no longer an option. Are you sure about this? I'm in the midst of running for office. I can't afford to let any strange rumors get out. Don't worry, you won't suffer any blowback for what you're about to reveal. Blowback? I'm not sure I like the sound of that, Mr. Wright. Not to worry, Your Honor. Nothing untoward will come of this, I promise. Now then, Mr. Justice. Remember how it was an anonymous caller that reported the doctor's death? Come to think of it. Emma, who's the one who discovered the body? About that, whoever it was seemed they were wanted to remain anonymous. What? happens now and then. Some people would rather be not involved with the police. Wait, you're not saying that... Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. The anonymous source who contacted the police after discovering the body was... my client, Paul Anderson Wibberson. What? You don't say... So you see, he played the part as a concerned citizen, quite admirably, if I may say so. Isn't that right? Yes, indeed. In our society today, there are too many who choose indifference over righteous action. And there are a number among them. That's why I did my duty as a concerned citizen. One might call me the model citizen, unworthy of standing above the rest. What a real standard bearer he is, reporting it anonymously. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Justice, wasn't there someone else at the scene of the crime when my client discovered the body? Oh, you mean Mr. Arabal? He would have been leaving the doctor's house right around then. Wait, that means... Yes, it does. In short, well, my client witnessed Mr. Arabal fleeing the scene of a heinous murder. And that's not all. Based on what we've heard of so far, Mr. Arabal looked exceedingly suspicious, and that's putting it mildly. You already know the Defiant Dragons threatened the Doctor with bodily harm. And now that they've killed him, the so-called orb transfer agreement is null and void. Ah! Apollo, if we don't come up with some sort of counter-argument, and what sort of evidence do you have? Can you actually prove that it was Mr. Arabal who killed the Doctor? That move had desperate written all over it. It's all I've got, so I'm going to go with it. Evidence? I suppose it's true that I don't have any. I knew it! But I do have another witness. You do? You should know I always come fully prepared, Mr. Justice. And my new witness will provide the testimony proving Mr. Arabal's guilt. Ugh. A new witness? Wonder who it could be. Very well. Bailiff, please summon our new witness. In the meantime, the court will take a brief recess. Would like both sides to use this time to prepare properly, understood? Woo! It's the kid! It's the helicopter that saw everything. No time? Wow, I knew Mr. Wright would put up a tough fight, but... Yeah, just when I thought we had him, he turned the tables on us. He really is the turnabout terror. They called him that? Can't let him blindside us again. How did you get back in his voice? Looks like you got me again. 3 times in 1 year. That's a new record. That's please, no more records or bad puns while you're at it. It's hard enough trying to help you as it is. Roger that. I'll be more careful next time. That's what is that, Mr. Is what Mr. Wright said true? Did you really pay a visit to Dr. Buff that night? Sure did. I can't remember the exact time though. All I know is he wouldn't hand over the orb. Someone put it in his head that we rebels were dangerous. That's why he threw me out. So the Doctor was still alive when Dats last saw him. We still have to prove it though. Better brave yourself, son. The witness testimony could make or break this case. Yeah, I know. Hey, where's Trucy? Do you want to go see her dad? Maybe she's still mad. Or like worried. Worried that this trial will create a rift between you two. And you might then leave the agency. She has an active imagination. It's not like I've done it before. Excuse me, the trial will be resuming shortly. Well, let's go see what the new testimony awaits us. That was so brief, they might as well have just not left the room. Alright, court is back in session. Mr. Wright, you said you had a witness. You Your Honor, I would like to call the lone survivor of the doctor's murder to the stand. Wait, he can't mean that Sarge is here? You mean Dr. Bluff's reclusive son? How did he get him to cooperate? Nothing a little persuasion couldn't handle. The poor child only agreed to help if it meant catching the killer. Getting a kid like that to overcome his fear. Well, that's impressive. This must have been a real important testimony for the kid to come out in public like this. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please cause your witness to the stand. It's the helicopter. Yep, no legs. Oh my. Sergeant Buffett, your service, sir. He's here as the drone? Really? Mr. Wright, what exactly is the meaning of this? Past trauma has rendered it impossible for the witness to venture into public. Leaving home was hard enough, and it seems leaving the witness lobby was just too much. Also, they're actually here, they're just in the witness lobby. But I would still like to continue with testimony delivered via this drone. I understand it must be terrible to lose one's father like that. But testimony via a remote control toy? Well, let's take things for a spin, see where it goes. Just who's piloting the trial here anyway? The judge sure warmed up to the idea fast. I think the phrase you're looking for is gave up. You disappoint me, Mr. Juster, to think I called you comrade. Defending the man who killed Papa, that's full treason, soldier. I hereby demote you back to private. Corporal? Private? What's he talking about, Apollo? It's a long story. Now then, are you ready to testify, youngster? Locked and loaded, sir. Ready to rain lead down upon the perpetrator. What happened that evening? Papa met with someone that night. He died. I didn't have eyes on the ground as I already mounted my siege defense, but I did hear him argue with someone in his study. From my window, I saw the one designated Das getting ejected from the premises. After that, the man lingered around the perimeter for some time. He must have regrouped and killed my papa in the study later. I just know it. So he was thrown out, but later returned and committed the murder, did he? Yes, Your Honor. So the man my child client saw... My child client? What? Really must have been the fleeing Arabal. Objection! Right, you backstabbing no-good. I didn't kill no one. Is the enemy an enemy? Remember, ready your meals and fire. Oh. Capitalist pig! I'll turn you into pork stroganoff. And that's just for the taste of my ultimate anti-swine weapon. Well, it fires missiles too? Yes, well, the witness is all yours, Mr. Justice.
Hold it!
Your father met with someone? Would you be more specific? No, I was in the midst of a crucial defense siege operation. Right. You're referring to how you don't leave your room, correct? You never know when the enemy might be lurking outside the siege perimeter. What about school? He told you about this before, Apollo. Oh, I don't go to boot camp. I'm a soldier. A sergeant associated with rookies still too green to fight. With a kid like this, I bet Dr. Buff wouldn't be getting any rest in the afterlife either. It was very brave of you to come to the courthouse today. But what was it that you said about siege defense? Oh, that? Well...
Hold it!
Sarge, I've always wondered, who or what are you battling? That's classified. Even so, it may be relevant to this case.
Objection!
I don't know if you're the right person to be asking about things like that. What does that mean? That's right. Such matters need to be handled with a certain delicacy. Oh, I guess curiosity got the better of me? You're all talking, no action, soldier. On the battlefield, it ain't the number of petty words in your repertoire. It's but the number of bullets in your gun belt. That counts. Easy for you to say. You're the one with all of them. Would the witness please tell his court what he saw and heard that night?
Hold it!
What was the argument about? I heard things like, where's the orb? And are you defiant dragons really criminals? It sounded really volatile, like a war might break out any second. The two of them had an argument when Dutz came in to get the orb. Did you see or hear anything else? Yeah, I heard them arguing. And then silence.
Hold it!
How was Mr. Arable acting? Like a conquered trooper retreating with his tail between his legs. A trooper? Well, I guess he does dress like he's in the military. I bet those two would have really hit it off had they met under different circumstances. Yeah, I can see that. And so the defeated soldier was expelled, but that wasn't the end.
Hold it!
That does seem suspicious. He kept hiding behind the trees and telephone poles and stealing glances at our house. Yeah, he couldn't exactly leave without the orb. I bet he was angry that he'd been kicked out.
Hold it!
But don't you keep your front door locked? If so, then anyone could have got in. That's true. Papa didn't keep our house locked up because he's weird like that. He said there was no need because there were only good people in Khu'rain village. Yeah, just like Pearl's mother. Or the sister of the murdered woman. Or the person that died in the car crash. Or the Dahlia. Both when she was alive and when she died. Yeah, and there's no bad people in Khu'rain. Yet he ended up dead anyway. Only a monster would do that to my papa, kind of trusting papa. There will be no mercy. I vow swift and terrible vengeance. I'll carpet bomb the killer with everything I'm in my arsenal. Fire! While I sympathize with you, witness, you will refrain from firing Gatling guns in this court. The Sarge thought that's too. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse. Wonder why he hung around after being thrown out. I hate to say this, but if Dats was proven to be the killer, we'll lose the orb to the plaintiff. So our only option is to prove the Defiant Dragons had nothing to do with the murder. I'm thinking it is the later thing, because he would have had to have been killed within an hour.
Objection!
Nah. That statement contradicts this piece of evidence. And how does it contradict? I don't know. Sounds like a plan. There was a whole thing with him being arrested, you know, for the other thing as well. Sin, welcome. Discovered your channel. Nice. Welcome. Hope you enjoy. Because we know that he was arrested for hiding out in a doghouse.
Hold it!
I don't want to press that. Skip.
Hold it!
Maybe something new came up after learning about that last one.
Hold it! Objection! Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
Yeah, so there's nothing new, so there's got to be something I can present. All this last night. I'm trying to think if it would be when the guy went out to hide the orb, but he would have had to hide it. He would have. I thought he hid it before anyone showed up, but I might be wrong about that. I'll go with the
Objection!
no. Ow! Got slapped. Let's try with the jacket then.
Objection!
Nope. Skip. At least it gives me my prize back. You don't need to perform Long's trial. I don't know why I can't skip this. I've already seen it. Ownership is hereby awarded to the plaintiff, Mr. Paul Addison. Things were awkward at home. Out of our hands. Revolution in the kingdom of Khu'rain died that day. We returned to our daily lives. Things were awkward between Mr. Wright until we kissed and made up. We'll try from this scene. Oh, now you want to consult me. Is it just me or does that statement sound like a bit dubious? You know what? You're right. Thanks, Athena. Anytime. I'll take another look at the evidence. Oh. How did... What am I supposed to present here? Diver.
Objection! Objection!
I guess the helicopter. Sarge, are you hiding something from me? How dare you question your superior officer like that? You want to get in this Stroganoff action with Pig Boy over there, soldier? Sorry, but I'm afraid lawyers aren't missile-proof. What? Would the defense care to explain? How are you immune to a rocket? It's simple, Your Honor. Just as he is able to see what is happening in court right now, Sarge was able to see what was happening in the study then. With his cherished drone, of course. Now that you mention it. And to think the answer was right before our eyes the whole time. Sarge, you were perfectly capable of patrolling the study that night. So you must have seen something. I'm hit. What is this strange new weapon you're using against me? My finger point. Courtroom warriors don't use guns or missiles, but evidence. Because evidence is our weapon of choice. And the evidence has exposed your bold-faced lie. My truth bomb, Sarge, has stripped your defenses bare. Truth bomb? No! Ah! Mayday, mayday, I'm going down! Oh my, are you alright? Evidence? Never have I seen such a fearsome ordnance. Tell it to us straight, Sarge. After all, you want to help your father, don't you? Papa. Yes, you want to find out who killed him, don't you? So please, tell us what you saw that night. It's not what you think. I didn't see anything. I swear. You sure? You seem awfully stressed out for someone who didn't see anything. And then he died. Sarge, you need to answer my question. Shut your pie hole, maggot! I'll be scorching day in Siberia before a lowly private you orders me around. I can't read. What's with him and Siberia of all places? But if a scorching day is what it'll take, then maybe it's time to turn up the heat. Hey, Athena, you think a therapy session might help? Well, it could help alleviate some of his anxiety. Plus, I'm picking up a lot of discord in Sarge's voice. That usually means the patient wants to say something, but can't for some reason. And in Sarge's case, I imagine whatever's plaguing him is pretty severe. In that case, I leave it to you and your mood matrix magic. All the M's. Mood matrix magic. Man. You got it. Usually it's you that brings it up, Athena. I don't know why I have to suddenly tell you to do your job. Your Honor, I believe I can help here. Time for a therapy session, is it, Miss Sykes? Yeah, it will help the witness with his anxiety. Maybe even enough to testify. And by all means, please bring the poor child out into the light of day. Be dramatic. Oh, but I assume that'll be alright with you, Mr. Wright. Why not? It's not like we'll have been through all this before. What are you butting in for, lady? There ain't a place on you. On you. This isn't a place on this battlefield for you.
Objection!
I beg to differ, Sarge. This G.I. Jane's always been ready for a fight in the courtroom. I've kicked people's asses, you know. Wait till you see what I got in my arsenal. Analytical psychology. And with it, I'm gonna blow a big old hole in the armor you built around your heart. And then I'll kick your ass! First evidence, now an analytical psychology? Where are these WMDs coming from? Well, if it's a battle you want, bring it on. May have started this war, but I'm going to end it. Spokeswoman Sykes. You got it, Sarge. Time to seek out the agony buried deep in your heart. It just suddenly becomes philosophical. She's like, yeah, I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to show him what's what. Now let us explore the majesty of your mind palace. Brace yourself. 1 second. I stayed in my drome in the room that evening. I heard Guts and Papa arguing in the other room, or with each other. Gus got kicked out, but I saw him still hanging around outside. I was in my room, so I didn't know Papa was dead until the next day. Okay, well, the first one is obviously something we have to question. Like, why is he sad right now?
Got it!
Huh. This emotion isn't that out of place, given the statement. He was in his room, and he's sad about that. You're just looking at his emotions as they relate to only a single statement. It's really important to look for emotional fluctuations between different statements, too. All right, thanks for the reminder, Athena. All right, let's try it again. I mean, surprise would make sense, because it came out of nowhere. Kicked out, but I saw him still hanging around outside. Why is he super sad here?
Got it!
All right, what about surprised?
Got it!
I don't understand why the surprise one was the odd one out. It would have made sense for him to be surprised, like, oh, he's still here, not, oh, he's still here. It's like, what? That's strange. You reacted with shock when you discovered your father's body. That is not what I put. What? That's not what I put it on. Yet you weren't nearly as shocked when you saw Mr. Arabal. Normally you'd expect the death of one father to be much more impactful. Enemy fire! Direct hit! That is strange. I wonder what it could mean. We know he wasn't as affected by his father's death as he should have been. And I think I know why. Oh? Sarge, you weren't as shocked at seeing your father's body as seeing Mr. Arabal's because you killed him! It was you! Something else shocked you. You'd already seen his body. You're scared of Mr. Arabal. I don't think the scared one's probably going to be that. You might have already seen the body, but then... I guess this one will make most sense. Did something else shock you when you saw Mr. Arabal? Something even more shocking than your father's death? Huh. Like what exactly, Apollo? I don't know. Maybe a mouse or a... Oh no, my father's dead! A mouse! Maybe a mouse or a cockroach? Ew, gross. Foolish cannon fodder, vermin are powerless in the face of my deadly arsenal. I'll pump them full of lead. Sounds kind of messy, don't you think? Then I'll develop new weaponry. Maybe a flamethrower do the trick. Sure, as long as you keep it for the vermin use only. Guess it wasn't something like mice or cockroaches after all, huh? No, but if it was worth a try, especially to see your reaction. What else could it be? Sarge, maybe the truth is you left the room that night and that's when you saw it? Your father's body? I saw no such thing. Really? You didn't see his body? Alright then. What did you see? Look, Apollo, we've lost some noise. As I suspected, he really did see something. Sarge, please, tell us what you saw. Ooh, but... Wait, I don't know where that came from. The moment I saw it, I couldn't bear it. I couldn't stand to lose yet another loved one. Huh? Am I missing something here? Is that why you weren't very shocked when you found out your father was dead? Because you had already sensed that he was a goner somehow? Maybe. Please, Sarge, what is it you saw on the night of your murder's... Your father's murder, not your murder's father. Oh, Gaga. I saw... What's happening? I don't know where this is going. Yeah, no more. No more, please. Eat. Help. Just kidnap Widget. I confiscated your little toy. The battlefield has no place for unauthorized equipment. Widget! Apollo, I can't continue the session without him. Also, it's an important heirloom that was given to you by your mother, but whatever. Calm yourself. This instant witness. I hereby order you to submit your therapy session. What in the blazes? Look at me, I'm judge and jury executioner now. I hereby convene a military tribunal. Now he's just taking things. Whoa, this has gone way too far. Bailiff, arrest that drone this instant. Stop resisting. If you don't go quietly, I'll fire! Give Widget back right. Literal war. Finally got him back. Nice work. This witness is truly a handful. Oh, 2, 3, 4. Oh. It's like, what's the witness's current psychological state? Let's see. He's emotionally all over the map. So his out-of-control emotions are in control of him, huh? I can't read? Does that mean we can calm him down if we can figure out the root cause? Yeah, so long as we... so let's see what we can find out. Sarge, can you hear me? Is that you, Courtswoman Sykes? I'm here. Now, I want you to take a few deep breaths. Just try to relax. Think of the calm place. Try it with me. Breathe in and out. In, out. In, out. In, out. And now, let your emotions take you where they will. Go on, just let it all out. Oh! All forces attack! That's the least relaxing breathing exercise I've ever seen. Whee! You've barely gone into this thing and he's already going to freak out. That's what's still around after he got kicked out. When? I heard more fighting and got worried about Papa. More fighting, eh? So I left my room, but suddenly I got dizzy and passed out. I remember a flame lighting up the room and Papa grinning with delight. That's when he must have been killed, if only I hadn't passed out. Okay, why is there a fire?
Got it!
That's it! Sarge, you were overcome with shock and fear when you saw those flames, weren't you? Was I? Yes, just 6 months ago, you and your mother were caught up in an arsonist's blaze, so it's no wonder you would be extremely scared of fire. Yes, that does make sense. And maybe, just maybe, your subconscious fear of fire was what caused you to withdraw from the world? What do you mean, Courtswoman Sykes? In the outside world, you were bound to come across all sorts of fire. Candles, cigarettes, heck, even the grill at a diner. Not if you're using an electric grill, then you'll be fine. Even if it's not that often, just the idea that you might see them. Grew bigger and bigger until you couldn't shut it out. I think you might be onto something. Candles, cigarettes, just thinking about them sends a chill down my spine. Wow, things I take for granted. Now I see. I was afraid. Afraid of fire. I was petrified. Strange I didn't realize it myself. About that fire, Sarge. Can you tell me what it was burning? Once they come, maybe something will come to you? Oh, Oh! I'm starting to remember. It was the orb. It was that relic. The relic that Papa was studying. It was on fire. The orb was on fire. It's still kind of fuzzy. But yeah, the orb was burning right in front of me. Or in front of Papa. Not me. I don't have arms. I'm a robot. And there, in the flames was... Mama? Yes, now I remember. I saw Mama appear amidst the dancing flames. Wait, what? Info updated. Oh, it burns. That's not creepy. 30%. There's still some noise, though. What's going on here? Maybe it's a memory from the fire that killed his mother? You might be confusing it with what really happened when his father died. So let me guess. More therapy? Yep. But this time, it seems there's an inconsistency in his statements. And I think we should be able to prove it with the evidence at hand. Hope this inconsistency is the key to proving that the relic really is the Founder's Orb. Maybe because it looks like it's on fire? Heard more fighting. Because the thing is, it's like, we're still hanging around after he got kicked out, and then he heard more fighting, but how would he know that it was the same people fighting if he didn't come back in? Yeah, because he didn't have it at the time. He buried it already.
Objection!
I guess not that, then. You're lying, kid! Is that so? Would you be so kind as to point it out to the court? No! If you're going to put me on the spot like that, I admit my confidence is waning. I could say the same about my confidence in you, Mr. Justice. I wish you wouldn't, Mr. Your Honor. Say, Apollo, Sarge is saying that his father was burning the orb when he was killed. But doesn't that seem funny to you? Considering that what the doctor was up to at that night, it doesn't add up. Well, now that you mention it... Alright, I better look through the evidence one more time. I guess it's here I need to present it.
Objection!
No! Yes, this one.
Objection!
No. we know that he had already put it away, so he wouldn't have the thing in order to burn it. Raphatron already did that. Hold on a minute, why does that look different? Oh no, it doesn't, never mind.
Objection!
Oh, I guess I wasn't the right one. The first time. Don't blame yourself, Sarge. After all, even if you hadn't passed out, the outcome would have been the same. What do you mean? I'm talking about the time of death. Your father wasn't killed right after you left your room. What? Explain yourself at once, Private Justice. You said you saw your father burning the orb, right? But that night we went out to he went out to hide it in a cave. So what you saw, Sarge, was something that happened before your father left to hide the orb. So you see, you didn't pass out right before he was killed. You passed out right before he left for the cave to hide the orb in the ruins within. So, even if I hadn't passed out, that's right. The outcome would have been exactly the same. That's because your father, Dr. Buff, was killed after he returned from the ruins. And therefore, Sarge, there's no need for you to blame yourself. Oh, I see. Private Justice, can you really say I bear no blame in this? Why do you ask? Because the truth is, if I hadn't engaged in my siege defense, Papa would still be alive. Sarge, Papa wished nothing more than for me to lead a happy, healthy life. That's why he quit his job and moved us out. Away from the big city, camera zooming in. But even then, I didn't have the courage to set foot outside into the outside world. And in the end, I failed to make Papa's wish come true. Sarge. You want to make your father's wish come true, if that's what you really want, then who's to say it's too late? Why don't you take up the first steps now? My first step? That's right. You can cast off all your regret. You can stop standing still and start moving forward. You have the power within you. I know from experience, I know what it's like to feel like you do. But only you can decide to take the first step and kick ass. If you don't change your tactic now, Sarge, the victory you seek in the war you're waging will always lie beyond your grasp. I think I understand now. I've made up my mind. As of this moment, I'll suspend my siege defense indefinitely. Now they're out and about. Huh? Sergeant Buff, reporting for duty. What? I thought you were a guy. You're definitely not the gruff drill sergeant I envisioned. Well, my mama was in the Russian army. I was just shocked, but it certainly explained a few things when I found out too. I introduce to you Miss Army Buff, age 12. No way. Careful, soldier. Don't forget I could blow you away at a moment's notice. He's just too cute. So, have you always been in a wheelchair, Sarge? Negative. Only since I was injured. In the fire. Your voice sounds awfully different from before. My drone features a voice modulation device. It's just one of the many Army's many technological marvels. So I have to do a different voice. Okay, great. Well, you fooled me. I thought some 20-something military fanatic was in the controls. It's all same to you, troops. I'd like to continue my testimony. I just remembered something, and it's Christmas. Blah, blah, blah. It's as crisp and clear as a trumpet at roll call, whatever that means. Who blows a trumpet at roll call? She is cute, though. How do you feel that no legs comment? Rafachon, you can try and make me feel bad about it. I don't. Because how was I supposed to know that ahead of time? I just said no legs. She still has legs. Literally only said that because she came out as a robot and now she's out as a person. She still has legs. What did you remember? It was my mother who appeared in the burning orb. It was some lady Papa had shown me a picture of a long time ago. He said it was the Holy Mother, the founder of Khu'rainism. She appeared right there, right in the burning orb. Huh? What did you say? Well then. Yeah! Good old psychology. The Holy Mother, Khu'rainism was in the burning orb. What does that even mean? I have a bad feeling about this. Could it be... Could this explain what Sarge means by the Holy Mother appearing in the burning orb? Offer thy prayers as fervent as fire. Only then shall the Holy Mother return.
Take that!
Dr. Bust's research notes. What do they have to do with this? Look at this. The burning orb, the appearance of the founder. This part points to both. Well, it's already on it, so just
Take that!
click it. There's a legend about the orb involving a mysterious riddle. And this song in turn is said to contain the key solving it. If the legend is true, then I believe the answer lies in this part of the song. Offer thy prayers as fervent as fire, only then shall the Holy Mother return. Well, anyone else see where I'm going with this? Prayers as fervent as fire. You're supposed to set the orb on fire? The whole stanza seems to suggest the founder will appear if the orb is set on fire. Wait, so the doctor, he... Yes, Athena. He had solved the ancient riddle of the founder's orb. Oh my. We could just set the orb on fire and we'll figure it out too. Papa was a great archaeologist, so I believe in him. And I want to believe he achieved his long-term dream of solving the riddle before he died. Well, we won't know for sure until we try out ourselves. Yes, do it, Private Justice! Please, set this orb ablaze! I want to see what Papa was searching for in my own eyes.
Objection!
The plaintiff must object to this.
Objection!
The plaintiff will stand down and be quiet. He will sit down and shut up.
Objection!
You don't have the right to set a precious relic on fire.
Objection!
Oh, but I do. All I need was Sarge's permission. Since we still don't know, if this treasure is the Founder's Orb or the Crystal of Amifei. Any ownership rights the Doctor had belong to his daughter, a 12-year-old. Therefore, you have absolutely no right to stop us. Ugh. Ruined by his own witness. Very well, Mr. Justice, I never thought I'd be saying this, but you may burn the evidence. Alright, here we go. So does it catch fire, or do we have to put, like, kerosene on it? Oh, it's fully animated. Look! A part of the inside of the orb, it's melting. There's something in there. Oh, it has a face! Dirk, isn't she... Macabre leaves no room for doubt, is the Founder herself. Face and all. I don't understand. The greatest of taboos in Khu'rainism is the depiction of the Founder's face. Yet here it is, hidden within this orb. Whoa! Sorry, Mr. Wright, but as you can see, the issue is crystal clear. This figure is the Holy Mother, founder of the Khu'rainism religion. And based on that, this must be none other than the Founder's Orb.
Objection!
Be that as it may, Mr. Arabal still may have killed the Doctor. If so, it would render the Orb transfer agreement null and void. Don't play dumb, Mr. Wright. The truth of the matter has already been proven. Dr. Buff wasn't killed right after Sarge saw Mr. Arabal. It happened after the Doctor came back from hiding in the Orb. And you've no proof that Mr. Arabal was still around at the time. Your claim that the Defiant Dragons were behind the crime doesn't hold water. And that means the Orb transfer agreement is still perfectly valid. Sudden thought. What if Khu'rain has Maya hostage and they say that they can't get the Orb? That's why Phoenix is doing this, because he's doing it against his will. Just like before. Like all the other times this has happened. If you don't make them not get the Orb, Maya is forfeit. Transfer agreement is valid. Arrgh. I guess we'll find out, but still. Admit it, Mr. Wright. And just burned your whole case to the ground. Looks like the ladder from the station. Now that you mention it, that doesn't it? No! I won? I actually won. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Respond? I don't think so. Wait, did we just win? Did we actually beat the Turnabout Terror? You're amazing, Apollo. Don't just stand there, Mr. Wright. Do something. Well, I don't think there's anything digging out of this hole. Mr. Addison... Mr... I'm just going to call him Addison, because I hate saying his whole name. Mr. Addison, I think it's time for your concession speech. I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is the Founder's Orb. The facts don't lie, but you obviously do. So how's that changed for a... How about a campaign slogan? Why, you contemptuous peasant? I think this is a good time to wrap up this trial. If both parties have no further objections, I will render my verdict. No objections here, Your Honor. No. You can't do this. The crystal is mine. I'll lose the election if I lose that crystal. I'm sorry, but there's nothing more I can do. You haven't forgotten about our little chat, have you? What's going on here?
Objection!
Your Honor, I object to the defense's last claim. What? I don't believe they have truly proven the relic is indeed the Founder's Orb. What more do they need to prove? Oh, it's dated 18 BC. It really is the Founder's Orb. It was made in Japan, and it was made in 1998.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, I don't think even you could bluff your way out of this one. What possible argument could you have that claim this isn't the Founder's Orb? About that. Oh, of course. He can't possibly have hit on something. The defense assertion is incomplete, and this is why. Their claim that this relic is the Founder's Orb is based on a legend, and that legend claims that the Founders will return when the riddle is solved at last. Right, and that's what happened. The Founder was revealed for all to see. But Mr. Justice, what about the rest of the legend? Huh? According to the legend, once the Founders returned, she would bestow her spiritual power onto the person who solved the riddle. You're kidding, right? Well, Mr. Justice, do you feel great spiritual power coursing through your veins? No. But receiving spiritual powers and stuff, it's all just mystic mumbo-jumbo, right? Maybe so, but you're the one basing your claim on said legend. And what we saw here does not fully fulfill it, does it? Because it's one part of the song, the rest of the song must be true too. So you should have spiritual powers, right? No, but consequently, you cannot rightfully claim that this is the Founder's Orb. What's gone into him? Why is Mr. Wright doing this? It would appear that Mr. Wright has lost a few of his marbles. Yeah, because people would be like, what the hell is he talking about? Spiritual powers? What? That could be further from the truth, Your Honor. In any case, I believe this is a good time for a recess. Both sides will have 20 minutes to prepare. I ask that all arguments be ready by then. Oh, Mr. Wright, you do well to wash up and find your missing marbles by then, too. May 17th. Mr. Wright sure is acting funny. I mean, he's famous for going out on a limb, but that's the last assertion was just plain crazy. He's either a bluff or a Hail Mary. Either way, it doesn't make much sense. Maybe there's something we're missing here? Although, he seemed perfectly normal when we spoke earlier. Apollo, I have a bad feeling about this. I'm gonna go check up on him. What's going on with you, Mr. Wright? Hey, Private Justice. Oh, Sarge. I forgot to mention something. On the night of Papa's murder, a strange thing happened. Oh, but why are you only telling me about it now? Well, I didn't say anything before because I thought Papa's death was an accident. But now that we know otherwise, I figured it might be important. There's still more to this case? When I left my room and lost consciousness, I passed out right here. It's right above the coffee bar. But when I came to, someone was pushing my wheelchair. What? I was so scared I beat a hasty retreat, as fast as my wheels could take me. Do you know who it was? No, it was pitch black. Plus, I fed to my room so fast I didn't even have a chance to turn the lights. Maybe it was your father. No, he would have said something to me. Besides, I'd have known if it was him. So then, it could have been your father's real killer? My thoughts exactly. But you didn't report this to police? It didn't even occur to me. It's okay. You're obviously still upset, so don't beat yourself up over it. Apollo, this could be really important information. I think the act of pushing Sarge's wheelchair could be part of some bigger scheme. It's hard to see why else the killer would have done such a thing. guess I should take a statement down as evidence. Could it be someone that is somewhat related to the person? I don't mean like biologically related. I mean just related to the whole thing in general. Because why would they push a wheelchair-bound woman or girl to their room? That just seems like an unnecessary thing to do if you just killed someone. Oh, welcome back, Athena. Huh? What's with the long face? How'd it go, Mr. Wright? What should I... Athena? Oops, sorry. Zoned out there for a sec. The recess is almost over. Let's go. Ha ha ha. What was that all about? How about you tell Phoenix, Apollo, so then he knows what's going on, and then he can make the choice rather than just... Let's not just tell him so... To screw with him. Like, what? All right, court is once again back in session. Now, Mr. Wright, about that last objection you raised. We, the plaintiff, still believes that the defense has yet to sufficiently prove its case. They claim that, according to legend, the Founder's Orb would bestow spiritual power. Yet the relic in question has failed to do so. Therefore, it has failed its own test. I see. He's sticking with that ridiculous argument? Furthermore, even if it is the Founder's Orb, it can't be awarded to Defiant Dragons. After all, they were the ones who killed Dr. Buff.
Objection!
What are you talking about? That was already proven to be false. There are no grounds for asserting that Defiant Dragons murdered the Doctor. Oh, but I'm afraid there are, Mr. Justice. Your Honor, I would like to present new testimony to this court. Testimony that was showed that Dux Arabal did in fact kill Dr. Buff. What? Very well, you may call your witness. I guess Mr. Wright found another new angle? What new testimony could there be this late in the game? Hi again. Fellow citizens, it is I, Paul Addison, the once and future representative of all the people. She's not him again. My client divulged new information to me during the recess. He remembered something that he saw, you see. Something that's crucial to this case. How very convenient. It was around 11 at night, and I was out on a mobile meet and greet around the village. That was when I saw Dr. Buff getting murdered from outside his study window. Mr. Arabal snuck in from behind and struck him on the head. His weapon of choice? A suitcase. A big, strong man like him could easily swing a heavy suitcase into someone's head. Okay, did you get the suitcase checked? You saw the murder as it happened? And you're just telling us now because... I saved the best for last. It's a tactic known to all the political greats. The murder weapon was a complete mystery. My client's eyewitness account has finally brought it into the light. According to the autopsy report, Dr. Buff was struck on the head by the corner of some object. I suppose that could very well be the corner of a suitcase.
Objection!
But eyewitness testimony isn't the same as hard evidence. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that if I were you. What's that supposed to mean? We have physical evidence too. Luminol test revealed. The doctor's blood on Mr. Arabal's case. Really? But how does that prove Mr. Arabal used it as a weapon?
Objection!
How is that an objectionable statement? He just asked a question. You should know the answer to that, Mr. Justice. Since you know as well as I that the suitcase is covered in his fingerprints. I forgot we dusted it right in front of him. Ah! Turnabout terror strikes again. This is quite convincing testimony and evidence. Nevertheless, you may proceed with your test cross-examination, Mr. Justice. That's his crime. Oh, the music's picked up. It's become dramatic. Oh, God. How long have we been going for? 8:42? Jeez. 2 hours, 70 minutes. How much longer is left? Because if we still got like another hour to do, then I'll probably stop. Because, yeah, I didn't think it'd be this long. Not much. Okay, then. I guess we'll go for a bit more then.
Hold it!
You're on a so-called mobile meet and greet at 11 at night. That's right. It's the perfect time because everyone is at home. You should have seen how the villagers' eyes teared up when they heard what I had to say. With tears of frustration, no doubt. You weren't riding it around in your palanquin? That's right. Some villager idiot reported me to the police. I've been banned from using it after dark. No wonder. What with all the noise he makes. So what exactly did you see then? I've only got 1 point left.
Hold it!
Sounds like you witnessed something rather shocking. Indeed, I didn't even believe it at first. I mean, a vicious murder in Khu'rain. There haven't been any murders there, I take it. Yes, there have! If I'm elected, I promise you that such a terrible tragedy will never happen again. My vote for me is for vote to banish murder forever from our beloved Khu'rain village. Yeah, good luck with that. Mr. Addison Wilson, please tell the court what you saw at the scene of the crime and no more grandizing. Mr. Arable snuck up from behind and struck him on the head.
Hold it!
No, he didn't. He snuck up from behind? So you're saying the doctor never even realized Mr. Arable was there? That's right. He was utterly absorbed in a book. I see. What did you see Mr. Arable do next? He climbed up the bookshelf ladder and dumped a bunch of books down on the body. I believe he was trying to make it look like an accident. But that idiot didn't realize I could see everything from the outside window. One of those statements doesn't feel right. Your Honor, I believe the witness made an important statement just now about how... That's it. The doctor was reading a book. The crime was clearly visible. The doctor was reading a book. The doctor was reading a book at the time of the murder. That's vital testimony. Very well. The witness will please add the statement to the testimony. The doctor was standing in front of the bookshelves, absorbed in a book.
Hold it!
You watched a murder committed with crime and did nothing to stop it? That doesn't sound like a good way to score points with the voting public. I'm a politician, not a superhero. I'm under no obligation to risk life and limb. He sure is quick to deny his obligations when there's nothing in it for him. I'm getting tired of listening to his endless and campaigning and flimsy rationalizations. About your testimony, Mr. Addison Wilson. You said Mr. Arable struck the doctor from behind while he was absorbed in a book. Yes, that's exactly what happened. What book was it? Was it the one that stayed in? This book has nothing in it. So does this book. I just realized he's not wearing shoes.
Objection!
Screw it. I'll just use up my last point. Please take a look at this piece of evidence. I'm looking, but what am I supposed to see? Bit of advice. Never present evidence before you have a good grasp of the situation at hand. Right. Sorry. Skip. Give me my points back. I hate that I can't skip this. I've already seen it. Retry from this scene. There we go. Got all my points back.
Hold it!
Let's get everything back again.
Hold it! Hold it!
That back. Question on it again.
Hold it!
Still funny that this is Zin E-Hop. It's not the real Phoenix. That's why he's acting like this. Oh, wait.
Hold it!
Let's just press on everything for now. Are you sure? I'm positive. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Yet, despite your certainty, you kept quiet about it until now. No, I was waiting. I knew there would be a perfect chance to talk about it later. Information must always be disclosed in a strategic manner. That is one of the lessons of Kingcraft as taught by Addison Clan. Is there a lesson by chance in the Addison Clan Kingcraft guidebook on being honest? Anyway, I saw Mr. Arabelle commit the heinous crime.
Hold it!
I would have to agree, that suitcase is really heavy. Wait a second. How did you know it was so heavy? For all you know, it could have been empty.
Objection!
My client witnessed the crime in progress. So naturally, he saw Mr. Arabelle straining to lift what was obviously a heavy suitcase. I can't say I'm a fan of you trying to discredit my client by tripping him up, Mr. Justice. But I'm just doing what you always do, Mr. Wright. Dr. Buff was struck behind while he was absorbed in a book? He must have been really into it. It doesn't add up. What doesn't? That Paul Addison is lying. I'm sure of it. Wait, it got rid of it? Oh no, there it is.
Objection!
Already did that. Why am I doing it again? I meant to do the glasses because he can't read without his glasses on. Come on!
Objection!
The doctor was standing in front of the bookshelves absorbed in a book, you say? I'm sorry, but it seems your testimony is completely unreliable. That's quite a bold statement. Well, let's hear you back it up. I challenge you to prove that I'm anything but 100% reliable. It would be my pleasure. Lately, it seems the doctor's eyes have gotten so bad he's needed reading glasses. However, his reading glasses were over on his desk. So you see, there's no way he could have been reading in front of the bookshelves. Did it again. I'm sorry, Mr. Whip Anderson, but I'm going to have to ask you to explain this discrepancy to the voting public. You what? I'll explain it, you lowly cur. I simply made a mistake, you see. The doctor was actually sitting in this chair or at his desk when Miss Dr. Arabelle hit him over the head. But then the doctor would have been facing him. Surely he would have seen him and tried to run. And Dr. Buff was nodding off. I could tell because his eyes were closed and he wasn't moving. Sounds more like what you would do. Then how do you explain the fact that he was stuck in the back of the head? Isn't that something that shouldn't be possible for the front of the desk? Oh, about that. He bowed his head when he nodded off. That's when he was clobbered. So that's what you saw? Well, Mr. Justice, that sounds like a perfectly reasonable explanation to me. Yes, the way that he described it as when he was, like, sweating and going, he was like, this, maybe? Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable. I understand that. Do you have a problem with the proposal that the doctor was struck while nodding off? There is a problem. A very big problem. The witness statement doesn't hold up under the slightest bit of scrutiny. Is that so? Then you will please show this court what evidence you have to justify this. Gladly, Your Honor. This shows the problem with the witness's claim that what you saw the doctor nodding off. Look at that. Nodding off. A diagram of the study. Because he would have had to have seen through the window in order to see the bookshelves. Raffatron, you're doing it again. This is the last time I'm going to ask. Please stop trying to give me the answers. If I want the answers, I will ask for them. If you keep doing it, I'm going to have to ban you because you're starting to do it too much. Please, I understand you want to help. I appreciate that. But again, this is coming up for like the third time or fourth time now. This is the last chance, okay? Please stop doing it. Mr. Addison Whipperson allegedly viewed the murder from here. And the doctor was allegedly nodding off. Here. But from this vantage point, the bookcase would have blocked the witness line of sight. Why, yes, I believe you're right. But,
Objection!
The fact remains, my client knew that the suitcase was the murder weapon. So he definitely had a first-hand knowledge of the crime scene. I'm afraid I have to agree with you there, Mr. Wright. But then we have to ask ourselves, from what vantage point did he see the murder? What are you insinuating, Mr. Justice? From what vantage point could Mr. Addison Whipperson have seen the dozing doctor? Once we determine that, I believe we'll finally see the truth behind the incident. The witness saw the murder from right here. Do I have to, like, go underneath this, or...
Take that!
You gotta be kidding. But that's... It is indeed. But everything only makes sense if the witness was there in the study. Inside the study? But that's where the scene of the crime. I know. Mr. Addison Whipperson, the man who claims to be a witness to the murder, was most certainly in that very room. Apollo, are you suggesting... Mr. Addison Whipperson, weren't you the one actually who swung the suitcase?
Objection!
What are you proposing is ridiculous or ludicrous. My client is a small, thin man, whereas Mr. Arbol has the musculature to pull it off. He has a point. I gave up trying to lift that thing after one go. But that's right, he's the only one who could have lifted such a heavy object. Now do you understand? The rebel Dats and Arable is the doctor's killer. As long as the suitcase is the murder weapon, the suspicion falls entirely on Dats. I'll have to poke a hole in Mr. Wright's argument somehow, Apollo. Oh, I will, and with his own test technique, no less. If Mr. Addison Riverson couldn't swing the suitcase around, we'll just have to consider another way he could have used it as the murder weapon instead. I'm going to turn this case on its head, Mr. Wright, just like you taught me. You taught big, Mr. Justice, but do you have what it takes? You talk big for such a small man. Well, this should be interesting. Mr. Addison Riverson's testimony has been filled with one inaccuracy after another. First, he stated that Miss Dr. Buff was in front of the bookshelves. Now he claims the doctor was sitting at his desk? So where was the victim really when he was killed? Also, where was his killer, and how was the murder weapon really used? So the important thing here is the position of the victim and killer relative to each other. Yes, Your Honor. If they were positioned in a certain way, it would be possible to use a suitcase as a weapon without lifting a finger. You can't mean. I would ask the court to recall the study's layout. It's quite distinctive, as you can see. Now, if Dr. Buff was sitting in a certain spot and his killer was at a certain other spot, the suitcase would become a weapon anyone could use. Very well, Mr. Justice. Where was Dr. Buff's killer at the time of the crime?
Take that!
How could the murderer have committed the from there? Yes, I would love to see a demonstration. Well, I can count from here. Well, I'll have a demonstration for you from here. Oh, and how to give a penalty. If the killer didn't swing the suitcase, there aren't many other ways to use it as a weapon. I know, and there aren't many places to use it from either. Now then, I hope the defense is ready to try again. Even Trucy is bigger than him. Yeah. So, like, my idea is that either it's going to... like, the way that I'm thinking is that the suitcase would have had to have been near the entrance, because why would he take it down here? So it would have been that the suitcase would have been knocked off onto the guy while he was over here. Or the guy was up here and fell onto the book, the actual thing.
Take that!
There. Oh, that's... This should wrap things up nice and pretty for you, Mr. Wright. I would ask the court to recall the study's layout. But this time, instead of thinking in 2 dimensions, let's think in 3. Only then can we clearly see the killer's method at work. 3D time. Meow. The killer didn't have to swing the suitcase. If he used gravity to his advantage, that is. That's right. It was the plaintiff, one Paul Addison Wimperson, who used the suitcase. He pushed it from the 2nd floor and sent it hurtling down to Dr. Buff, who was sitting at the coffee bar. The psychology book even has been at the coffee bar, no doubt. The doctor must have set it down there after he'd finished reading it or the like. But his blood got on it, which is why the killer thought to hide it in that mountain of books.
Objection!
That's quite an entertaining theory you have there, Mr. Justice. But there's no evidence that the murder took place at the coffee bar. I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Wright. I'd see the evidence of the murder occurring at the coffee bar. I'm not so sure that it doesn't exist. I don't think it exists either, but I think there's something there. The evidence does exist, and I'm going to show you. You are? This right here is proof that the murder took place at the coffee bar. Meow, it's got coffee on it.
Take that!
This brown stain was determined to be coffee. What's more, it was still a bit damp when we saw it yesterday morning. One look at this book speaks volumes, I'm afraid, Mr. Wright. It tells us the doctor was having a cup of coffee at the coffee bar. That's when the suitcase came hurtling down, striking him on the head, causing both his blood and his coffee to splatter onto it. Well, Mr. Addison Wimperson, Oh, what? Wait. What motive would I have to have killed Mr. Dr. Buff? There it is, the final excuse cornered killers are so fond of. Well, the doctor never returned your crystal to you, did he? Instead, he hid it in the cave ruins. Telling him that the Defiant Dragons were a dangerous bunch was a huge blunder. All it did was make him hide the orb. Your lie came back to bite you in the end. Even worse, the doctor saw the news report, so he knew the relic was the Founder's orb. Being the conscientious researcher he was, he knew he had to return it to its rightful place. And that meant keeping it out of your hands. You were so angry that he refused to return the relic to you that you killed him with your own hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Addison? Aye. That is.
Hold it!
Apollo, please don't accuse my client of murder. Huh? What do you mean, don't accuse him? Why would you even say that, Mr. Wright? What I meant was, he's a promising politician with a bright future ahead of him. It's in our nation's best interest to avoid burdening him with the taint of scandal. Say what? More tape. Right, you better do something to change the current courtroom climate, or I'll be charged with murder. And you know what will happen if that happens. Just do this in the open, why don't you? Actually just say that, oh, I've got someone that I'm threatening to kill because you're not protecting me. In front of the judge, in front of the court, just say this so openly that everyone can hear you. God, you're such an idiot. Everyone does this, and yet they somehow get away with it. Ugh. What's he talking about? I can ponder that later. For now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly believe that Mr. Arabal is the killer. Are you really going to send an innocent man to prison? I thought you were better than that. Well, Mr. Wright, answer me. Mr. Wright? What in the world's going on out here? If you won't say anything, then... Mr. Addison Whippen, the defense hereby accuses you of... Apollo, wait! Not you too, Athena. It's just, I wasn't sure whether I should say anything, but during that last recess when I went to check on Mr. Wright, I overheard something I shouldn't have. I trust Meyer is unharmed. I can't really say, but just remember, if I'm arrested or fail to obtain the treasure, there will be consequences. Consequences of the worst kind, if you catch my drift. Ugh. I knew it! I knew that she was captured again and he was being threatened to get him not guilty verdict. Again! All you have to do is ensure I get my hands on that relic. I must deliver it to my benefactor at all costs. What do they want with the relic anyway? It's something to do with an old legend. My patron seeks the great power said to be granted to whoever solves its secret. Maya? As in Maya Fey? Yeah, the boss's legendary former assistant. Miss Fey's being held hostage. So it seems. Why didn't you tell me as soon as you heard this? Sorry, it's just Mr. Wright spotted me before I could slip away. And maybe promised not to tell you. He said it would make things more difficult if you found out. As if things weren't already hard enough. So that's why Mr. Wright was acting so strange. I had no idea. This must have been excruciating for him. Think, Justice. There's got to be something you can do. Use your special eyes to find her. Mr. Justice, about that last statement of yours, I believe you were in the middle of accusing this plaintiff of murdering Dr. Buff. Would you care to continue? I don't understand, because, again, Phoenix went through this before, and he was able to work with the prosecution to get a better outcome. Why don't we just do the same thing here? Just work together to make this case go out until Maya can be found. I'm sorry, Apollo. I'm really, really sorry. What's gotten into you two? If I accuse that slime bag, I put Miss Faye's life in jeopardy. It seems you finally caught on. I'm far too important to be accused of murder. After all, our nation's future rests squarely on my shoulders. Either I give up or... Once I present the crystal to my patron, my victory is assured. Then one day I'll become president and then king. King? I don't think America has a king. I'll have every politician at my command. Now retract your accusation. I can't kowtow to him, but the defense would like to retract the previous accusation. Apollo. Dirk. I don't know what's going on here, but a lawyer should never look the way you do right now. With defeat and resignation written all over your face.
A dragon never yields.
Even when wounded, a dragon bites down hard and never goes till its dying breath. It glares, it roars, and it latches its jaws firmly onto its prey till the bitter end. That's what lawyers do to get the truth. Dirk, a dragon never yields. He's right. It's all over if I give up now. If Mr. Wright's hands are tied, it's up to me to do what must be done. He saved my neck so many times. Now it's my turn to save his, even though technically it's Maya's, but whatever. Dirk, thanks for that wake-up call. Now that the face of a lawyer you've got there, son. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm gonna find a way to save Miss Faye, and to see justice is served. Mind Palace, go! Scumbag is holding Miss Faye hostage to ensure he gets the orb for his patron. And it seems said patron believes in the orb's legend. The thing is, the Founder's Orb did appear when the orb was exposed to fire, just as the legend said. If the legend is true, then we've already solved the riddle, right? Not yet. We have not solved the riddle yet. The legend says the Founder's Orb will bestow great spiritual power when she returns. But if that's true, it means we haven't solved the whole riddle yet. But how can that be? Are we missing something? Wait, maybe the part about the Founder returning should be taken literally. But how would it be possible for a dead person to return to the living? Cloning! Time travel! Time travel! It's channeling! The Founder can return through channeling, because they now have the face. Oh, I know! There is a way for the dead to return. Spirit channeling. Let me just check, because I thought there was a thing here. Okay, that's not yet. Of course, you'd have to know the Founder looks like first. But the orb has revealed his face to us, so what if the sign that we should channel her? Given the facts, in order to solve the riddle and receive the Founder's power, I need a spirit medium. I need to practice channeling! A medium is needed to obtain the power. The ability of a medium to channel spirits is the final key to unlocking the orb's secret. That means Mr. Addison Whipperson, patron, will need one too. And once that slimy politician realizes that, he won't be able to lay a finger on Miss Faye. Everything's going to be okay, Mr. Wright, because Mr. Paul Addison Whipperson can't afford to harm a hair on Miss Faye's head. Huh? Mr. Anderson Whipperson, it seems you've chosen the wrong person to take hostage. What do you mean? Your patron seeks to solve the orb's riddle, and thereby receive great spiritual power. However, only Maya Fey can truly give them what they really want. She can? What do you mean, only Maya Fey? Think about what the return of the founder really means. We should have considered it more literally. After all, the orb was made in the kingdom of Khu'rain, the birthplace of spirit mediums. Ah, I think I see now. You need to know what the deceased looks like in order to channel them. But in Khu'rainism, depictions of the face of the founder is a taboo. However, her true face was hidden in the orb. So maybe the orb is telling us to try channeling the founder. Exactly. Through a spirit medium, the founder can quite literally return. And if the legend is true, the founder just might bestow spiritual power on someone when she does. It's like when Pearls imbued my Magatama with spiritual power. If a human could be imbued with such power in a similar manner, it is said that the founder possesses immense spiritual power. Such a great feat would not necessarily be beyond her. Wait a second, then the legend is true? Do you understand now, Mr. Addison Whimperson? You are holding hostage the final key to unlocking the orb's secret. And if anything were to happen to her, the riddle would remain unsolved forever. There's always Pearl Fey. I could simply ask her to help. If she wants money, I have plenty to offer. She's not the kind of person to be tempted by material gain. And she certainly wouldn't help you if anything were to happen to her cousin. Or maybe you'd like to go ask the Queen of Khu'rain to channel the founder for you. He could, but he'd probably get executed for requesting such a thing. It's over. Now confess, you killed Dr. Buff, didn't you? It wasn't supposed to end this way. Mr. Anderson Whipperson, are you admitting to committing the crime? You're my lawyer. You're my lawyer, man. Do something. It's true that I'm your lawyer, and as such, it's my job to defend you. However, defending my client isn't the only duty a lawyer has. There's something else that's equally as important, and that is finding the truth. What? Mr. Anderson Whipperson, you have sought to twist the truth in the dirtiest of ways. I was complicit in your hostage-taking, but in a way I was being held hostage too. Even so, there's still hope for me to make things right. And I owe it all to you, Apollo. Mr. Wright, I can't allow a murderer to walk away scot-free. Therefore, Mr. Addison Whipperson, I must resign as your attorney. No! Does this mean I'm under arrest? No! Well, I've nothing to confess. What? I said I've got nothing to confess. I don't and won't, especially not to oblivion like you. This guy doesn't know where to give up. Besides, there's no truth to these allegations. I mean, look at the suitcase. You won't find a single print of mine on it. All that means is you write them off, taking care to only leave Mr. Arabal's. As many a great politician has said before me, no comment. In that case, let's try switching things up, Apollo. Look at the situation from a different angle. If there really is nothing that points to the suitcase being dropped from above... Evidence that points to the suitcase being dropped from the second floor. If the killer pushed the suitcase from the second floor hallway over the coffee bar, that would place him right around here. Maybe, just maybe. Or something, Apollo? I believe this piece of evidence is connected to the dropping of the suitcase. This one?
Take that!
That appears to be a statement, but how is it related to this case? On the night of the murder, Your Honor, Miss Army Buff physically left her room. That's when she saw the doctor burning the orb and subsequently passed out. Right above the coffee bar. But with her there in the wheelchair, the killer wouldn't have been able to drop the suitcase down onto the doctor. Good point. However, according to Sarge, she woke up just as someone was trying to move her in a wheelchair. Someone was pushing my wheelchair. What? I was so scared I made a hasty retreat as fast as my wheels could take me. She must have been in the killer's way and had been moved. Isn't that right, Mr. Addison Wibson? And if that killer had pushed the wheelchair with his bare hands, we may yet find the conclusive evidence we need. Exactly. Fortunately for us, that evidence slipped right through the killer's fingers. If only he'd been able to hold on to just a little tighter. But now he's neither able to nor to discard nor alter it. Honestly, that piece of evidence wasn't even supposed to be here in this courtroom today. And yet, it looks like sometimes things do get better. But this wasn't supposed to happen. No? Well, too bad. Because the evidence that sped away from you that night has come back to haunt you right here in this very trial. Your Honor, the defense's final piece of evidence is this person. It's no Yuna.
Take that!
That's... On the night of the murder, Sarge passed out, only to come and find someone was pushing her wheel. Pushing. That's when she fled back to her room. She didn't physically see a single soul after that. Not until Athena drew her out through the therapy session, that is. Why is it still white? Okay, that was an abnormally long pause. Well, the killer was able to wipe the prints of the suitcase off. The same can't be said for the prints that got away. My fellow Khu'rainians. Well, Mr. Paul Addison Wibberson, try to explain your way out of this one. The podium is all yours. Paul Addison, savior of Khu'rain. I'm not a crook. My political career can't end like this. I'm destined for great things. Something's wrong. This isn't real. It's a dream, no, a nightmare. Oh. Huh? What? Wait, really? Oh! Oh my god. Oh, no way! Banzai! Banzai! Arrested on murder charges and stripped of his electrical win. What? No! Please! Wait! Don't go! No, please! Whoa! Grandpa! Oh my god! He literally had a ring death. Mr. Addison Wibson, are you alright? Bailiff, get him to the first aid station on the double. Literally had a mental breakdown. Well, this was yet another unexpected turn of events. In light of everything that's been revealed, it seems the relic is indeed the Founder's orb. And it seems poor Addison Wibberson can consider it a suspect of Dr. Buff's murder. Apollo, I want to thank you for everything. Thanks to you, I didn't have to keep bending the truth. I don't know what I would have done without you. Don't mention it. You're amazing today, Apollo. Well, I couldn't have done it without Dirk. Do the thing we did before.
A dragon never yields.
Even when wounded, a dragon bites down hard and never lets go until its dying breath. It glares, it roars, and it latches its jaws firmly onto its prey until the bitter end. That's what lawyers do to get the truth. You know? The dragon never yields. Every lawyer should take that to heart. And it seems both sides have no further objections. Would Dirk Samadhi please take the stand? This court awards the orb to the Defiant Dragons per the stated transfer agreement. Not guilty. Whatever. You know, it's still the same thing, but yeah. It's weird. Yay! And then bang! Should the Kingdom of Khu'rain claim the ownership, the matter may have to be deliberated in court all over again. I just hope, or shall I pray, that I'm not the judge presiding over that one. It's the other me from Khu'rain. Ha 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 ha! Indeed, a trial like that might spark an international incident. Still, there are bigger and more momentous things are astir in the air. Revolution. Dirk's really serious about this. This court is adjourned. I did the wrong voice, but yeah. May 17th. District Courtroom. Defendant Lobby number 3. Nice work, son. We've finally broken through the last obstacle on the road to revolution. Revolution? It just doesn't seem real. Yes, well, to think you actually defeated the fighting Phoenix. All I can say is that that's my boy. Ha 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 ha. Well, Mr. Wright did have his hands tied. Who knows if I'd won if he'd been... Who knows if he'd... Oh my god! Am I having a stroke or something? Who knows if I'd won if he'd been able to fight me head on? I see it more like you saved Mr. Wright. Saved him? Yeah, remember what you said? You didn't have to bend the truth anymore. It was all thanks to you. I don't know about that. Still, I guess it is kind of nice to be appreciated. Dirk? Now that Holy Mother's face has been revealed, are you going to have a spirit meeting and try channeling her? I, for one, would love to see the return of the legendary founder. Yeah, just think about it. Being able to speak to someone right out of the history books. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. What? Why? A face isn't enough. You also need the true name of the one you're attempting to channel. Well, Maya knows it, you know? Oh, right. Carl mentioned something like that. And the founder's true name is only known to the priestess who's been crowned queen. In short, the only living person who knows it is the current queen of Khu'rain, Khu'rain. Oh, so without her help, we won't be seeing the founder anytime soon. No, that's no fun. Why is this getting updated? That's weird that that's getting updated. Is it going to be important soon? So, Dirk, what will we do now? First, I'll start by tracing the route by which the orb came into Buff's hands. Since we know it was Paul Addison that asked the doctor to study it, isn't he the one who stole it? No, a political nobody like him couldn't get anywhere near the orb, let alone steal it. He must have had inside help. Money is on someone connected to the royal family. Oh, right, you said something to that effect back in the cave. Whoever it may be, we need to expose their dirty scheme to the light of day. It's obviously the Justice Minister, the Queen's husband, and he said wife. Well, I'm sure Mr. Wright has plenty of information courtesy of his dirty client. He might be able to shed some light on this. Private Justice. That was fine work you did in the trial today, or you did your sergeant proud. Back at you, Sarge. It took real courage to leave your room like that. Well, thanks to you and Corpsewoman Sykes. What happened to my throat there? With my siege defense over, I can finally sally forth. But the battle's only just begun. Only one for you, me and me alone to fight. To lose your mother and then your father, what a terrible thing to endure. Yeah, being wheelchair-bound doesn't help. Private Justice. I've been thinking. It's about time I stood up on my own 2 feet. After all, I no longer have Papa to call me. Huh? I'm afraid I don't follow. Take a good look, soldier. This is one small step for man, and one giant leap for me. Hold my drone for me, would you, Private Justice? Yes, sir. What is she up to? Whoa. She can stand now. She's standing? Oh, what's this? Sarge, you mean your legs? They're... The doctor told me I was ready to walk again months ago. But if I admitted it, I could walk, I knew had to leave the house. So I faked it. Makes sense, but that's illegal. You can't pretend to have a disability when you don't have one. I kept pretending I couldn't walk. But I know Papa is watching over me now, and I hate to disappoint him. So from this day forth, I'm going to march forward on my own 2 feet. What a brave kid, trying to move forward like this. But it must be so hard this soon after my father's death. Don't you ever stop. You just keep on walking, comrade. Stay brave, because there will be days when you'll want to stop. But I have faith you will find a way to muster the strength to push through them. Yeah, you can do it. Hey, Daddy's back. Mr. Wright, what's that look on his face for? Oh, Apollo. Is everything all right with Miss Faye? She's safe for now. Well, then we better go save her quick. Where is she anyway? I'm afraid I have some bad news. Huh? Maya's not here in the States. She's still in Khu'rain. And she's still being held hostage by the mastermind behind this whole thing. I knew it was not going to be just a simple fix. The mastermind? That's right. Paul Anderson Wimson was nothing more than a pawn. Maya's true abductor is the Kingdom of Khu'rain. In the Kingdom of Khu'rain. What? I don't understand, Mr. Wright. What in the world's going on over there? To be continued. But as shocking as that news was, it was only the beginning. The beginning of something big. Big enough to shake Khu'rain to its fiery core. Revolution. I was being swept up in a mighty wave that nothing could stop. Of course, at the time, I had no idea what that days ahead of me had in store for us. Yay! Finally. It's only 9:30, it's fine. I would like to say yes. Imagine if we went all this way and we brought Sarge with us. It's like, come on, you're coming with us now. We're your family. Completely different case, but it's related, so I guess that's why they put it into one thing. But that's where we'll stop for today. This has been a long stream, and we still have more to do, so yeah. That's it for today, so thank you all for watching. Hope everyone enjoyed. As usual, if you have not already, like, follow, subscribe to that bell notification so you know when our next stream. If you want to help support me, there's a link to Patreon tips in the bottom of the video or in the description as well. And if you do become a patron, you get your name added to the patron list here, where I give you a shout out at the end of every stream. I thank you for the continued support, and I greatly appreciate you. And wait, did I already say that? I give you a shout out at every stream? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the continued support, like I do with Khu'rain, the Soulmaster 37. And we get to help another person, another lawyer, from doing the wrong thing and fighting for truth or something. I'm hoping that the next case, or the next part of this case, is going to be like all three attorneys working together, Phoenix, Apollo, and Athena, because it's only ever been two. It's only ever been like Apollo and Phoenix, or Apollo and Athena, or Athena and Phoenix. You know, have all three do it. All three be the defenders. But yeah, that's what we'll finish today. I'll be back with this on Thursday. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Bioshock 2 Remastered, so look forward to that if you want to watch there. And until next time, y'all take care. Have a nice rest of the day, and I'll see you either tomorrow or Thursday. Until then, bye everyone. Bye for Tron. Bye everyone else, if you're still here. Like DG Vixen and all that. But until next time, y'all take care. Bye everyone. Bye-bye.